Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the news on national television. My name is Clifford Richards.
And I'm Dulanjali Anand, and these are headlines for tonight. Former Minister of State Shashindra Rajapaksa taken into custody. Sri Lanka Electricity Amendment Draft Bill passed with amendments. Australian Governor Samantha Joy arrives in the island. A reply from the Archbishop's residence to Vimal Weerawansa. Applications invited to recruit 1,408 primary grade medical officers. Promotional activities of the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination to end by midnight today. More than 100 persons missing due to floods and landslides in Uttarakhand, India. And we begin with local news.
The former Minister of State Shashindra Rajapaksa, who is taken into custody by the Commission to investigate allegations on bribery or corruption, has been kept under remand custody until the 19th of this month, as per an order by the Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali Jayatunga. Shashindra Rajapaksa was summoned before the Commission this morning in order to record a statement regarding an investigation conducted by the Commission to investigate allegations on bribery or corruption. He was taken into custody on this occasion and was produced before the Colombo Chief Magistrate in the afternoon today. Officials of the Bribery Commission told court that the suspect torched a building constructed illegally at a government land located at the Kiri Ibbanbawa area belonging to the Mahaveli Authority during the time of the Aragale on the 9th of May 2022. They also stated that the suspect does not have any legal inheritance to this land of now. In addition, the suspect had forwarded an application for compensation through a person called Mano Jekanayaka, who is occupying that land. The Bribery Commission stated that it has been revealed during investigation that the amount of 8.85 million rupees paid to Mano Jekanayaka as compensation has been taken by the suspect. The official stated that the compensation cannot be granted since the concerned building on location is government land. The official also stated that it has been revealed during the investigation that the suspect had influenced the Director General of the Office for Reparations and officials misusing the powers of this post. It has been mentioned that it was an offence of corruption under the Anti-Corruption Act. The officials of the Bribery Commission also stated further that the investigations are being conducted regarding the incident and statements of a number of officials from the Office of Reparation will be recorded. They further stated that the suspect will be produced before the court under the Anti-Corruption Act and the Parliament Public Property Act. A certificate from an Assistant Superintendent of Police will be presented regarding him. According to the President's Counsel Anil Silva, appearing before on behalf of Shashindra Rajapaksa, told court that his client cannot be charged under Anti-Corruption Public Property Act.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya says that the Bribery Commission is an independent entity without political influence. She made these remarks in response to a question raised in Parliament today. Parliamentarian Asitha Niroshana said that the persons who mocked at the government for not having investigation are now crying of conducting political revenge. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that whoever said whatever, law is being implemented properly. People have given their mandate to the government mainly to nab thieves. ගනුදෙනු පාවිච්චි කරමින් ඒක පාවිච්චි කර අවස්ථාවල් වලදී නෙවෙයි නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. ජනතාව අපිට ජනවරම ලබා දුන්නෙත් හොරු අල්ලන්න. ඒ වැරදි නොකර හිටියා නම් ඉතින් කෙඳිරි ගන්න ඕනෙත් නැහැ. ව්‍යාජ බේත් ගෙන්නලා Parliamentarian Asitha Niroshana questions what immediate measures are being taken to change the corrupted mindset from the political sector. ලබා දෙන්න නැතුව පාඩු කරපු ඇමතුරු ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේම තමයි මහගෙදර ඉන්න ආච්චිටත් පාඩු ඉන්න නොදී තමන් අනීතිකව රැස් කරපු ධනය ඒ වයසක
මිනිස්සුන් ළමටත් ලියලිවල අද ඔවුන් අසන්න තැනකට අදලා දාපු ජනාධිපති පුත්තු අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීම අපි දකිනවා. ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් පරීක්ෂණ පවත්වනවා. ගැටලුව තමයි දේශපාලන ශේෂ්ත්‍රය තුලින් මේ දූෂිත මානසිකත්වයක් ඇති වෙන තත්ත්වය වෙනස් කිරීම සඳහා ඔබතුමිය ගනු ලබන කඩිනම් ක්‍රියාමාර්ග තිබෙනවාද?
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that the law is enforced without any discrimination. People have now changed that corrupted political culture.
ඒකට මුහුණ දෙන්නත් සිද්ධ වෙනවා. නමුත් ඒ සංස්කෘතිය වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙන එක ජනතාව වෙනස් කරේ.
Parliamentarian Shaminda Vijayasri questioned what measures would be taken to the culprits who are connected to sugar tax fraud and garlic tax fraud and many other such cases. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that at that time the 50 rupees tax for sugar per kilogram has been reduced up to 25 cents. The Auditor General has called up a special audit report in this regard. Parliamentarian Shaminda Vijayasri said that asked whether the government is acting to punish both the frauds done in the past and possible such incidents at present. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that implementing law only does not matter. The relevant culture should be changed. The government is now taking actions in this connection. Parliamentarian Shaminda Vijayasri proposed that government should also create a certain background for this purpose. He also questioned whether the government take actions for any fraud occurred under this government.
ලුණු වංචාවක් සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා. චීනි බදු වංචාව වගේ බහලුම් වංචාවක් සිද්ධ වෙලා තිබෙනවා. අගමැති හැටියට ගන්න පුළුවන් තීන්දුව ඔබතුමිය ගන්නවද? තරාතිර නොබලා.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that the actions will be compulsorily taken against such incidents if any, or frauds should be investigated without any bias.
Governor of Australia, Samantha Joy Mostyn, arrived in the island today for a 3-day official visit on an invitation of President Anukumar Dissanayake. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism, Mujita Herat, welcomed Samantha Joy Mostyn and the delegation on the arrival at the Katnayaka Bandaranaike International Airport. During the official visit, the Australian governor is due to hold discussions with the President Anukumar Dissanayake and Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. Attention will be paid to the furthering and strengthening the cooperation between Sri Lanka and Australia and an expansion of areas of cooperation for mutual benefit of the two countries. She will also inspect several projects being implemented with the Australian assistance.
Senior Presidential Advisor on Digital Economy, Dr. Hans Vijayasuriya, says that the government servers will acquire an extremely essential duty in the digital transformation of this country. He pointed out that the most important duty will be entrusted on the Sri Lanka Administrative Service. Dr. Vijayasuriya made this observation at the 41st Annual Conference of the Sri Lanka Administrative Service Association.
Because we here are at senior levels in government. But there will be thousands behind us, hundreds of thousands, who are afraid, who see this digital revolution as something unimaginable. And it is our duty to help every single citizen through the change. That is change management. And last but not least, digital meaning technical capability. I put this last because that is the least important. First, it is leadership. It is all of you here who can lead this transformation. Second is your will to change and deliver a complete escalation in terms of efficiency, productivity and economic growth for our country. So the SLAS officer of 2030, I would believe that the SLAS officer at the peak, at the apex of which are the CEOs, the chief executive officers of ministries, our honorable secretaries here, who are managing portfolios larger than any private sector company in this country. Coming from the private sector myself, I marvel at how you handle scope which is so wide. There's no single private sector company which is as big as our large ministry in terms of the role of the CEO. But is the CEO doing the role of the CEO? I've heard this term, the chief accounting officer. That's not a nice term for someone who is going to lead transformation. I hope I'm forgiven for saying that. But from when we reach 2030, the apex of the civil service has to be the apex of strategy, has to be the apex of that platform government, at the head, the brain of the spine, which is orchestrating, meaning bringing resources together to deliver an output and enabling citizen and business to create value and grow our economy. And last but not least, the policy entrepreneur. The policy entrepreneur, what does that mean? Policy entrepreneur means designing policies to create value. Because every time you put a good policy on the table, investors will come to consume it. Every time you put a good policy on the table, you're making a citizen happy somewhere. And that is the role of a policy innovator and entrepreneur. And I have added a small T because I dream of 2030 when it is the Sri Lanka Administrative and Transformation Service. Because you will lead transformation of Sri Lanka into the digital age. And we can all be proud when that happens, that we are indeed world class, not only as the people of this country, but as an engine of governance and growth for the greater good of every Sri Lankan.
News on national television, and we continue with more local stories. A meeting between President Anurukumara Dissanayake and the Sri Lankan Singers Association was held yesterday at the Presidential Secretariat. Well, during this meeting, the Sri Lankan Singers Association requested the President to amend the necessary laws to grant full and legal rights to singers and composers as well as lyricists for a song. It was highlighted that many well-known singers are facing an issue due to the fact that the lyricist and composer of a song hold exclusive rights under Intellectual Property Act, preventing them from sharing songs on their social media. As a result, many professional singers have experienced unfair treatment. The Singers Association has urged the President to establish an independent committee to review these matters and propose the required legal amendments. The President pointed out that this issue has been presented for a long time, and also he stated that a solution should be sought by studying existing international laws and conventions built on technological needs, while also taking into account the facts presented by all parties mentioned above to ensure fairness to everyone. The Minister, Dr. Hinudeva Sunil Selvi, and many singers were present.
Of motor traffic, Kamal Amarasinghe said that 133,678 vehicles have been registered since January up to now. Out of them, 100,451 are motorcycles. There are 20,535 motor cars and 1,995 dual-purpose vehicles. 3,293 vehicles are three-wheelers. The number is gradually increasing. There is a significant increase in vehicle transfers as well. The Commissioner General of Motor Traffic stated that normal road traffic rules are applicable to the foreigners as well as to those who obtain the temporary driving license. Commissioner General of Motor Traffic Kamal Amarasinghe has said that under this project, foreign tourists benefit a lot. To get a temporary driving license, the time is separated in advance from the Veyahara office. It may take a whole day. Instead, through this project, a driving license can be issued within 10 minutes. Foreign tourists are not issued with license for three-wheelers and heavy vehicles. The normal traffic rules are applicable for them as well.
Reverend Father Cyril Gamini says that Vimal Veeravansa socializes false statements regarding His Eminence Archbishop Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, and he stressed this fact at a press briefing held at the Archbishop's house today. Media spokesman to the Colombo Archbishop, the Reverend Father Cyril Gamini, says that Vimal Veeravansa has said that for the first time in history, the Cardinal had not participated in the Easter Sunday Mass on the day when the Easter Sunday attacks took place. He also said that the Cardinal had participated in the Easter Sunday Masses before and after the year 2019. The Reverend Father said that this statement is totally false. His Eminence the Cardinal officiates at the Easter Sunday service on midnight Saturday. Even in 2019, he had officiated at the service at St. Lucia's Cathedral in Kotahena. Vimal Veeravansa, as he has suddenly awakened, stated this false fact after 4 or 5 years to the Easter Sunday attacks. Vimal Veeravansa makes such false statements deliberately to create religious hatred among the public. The Catholic Church sees this as a baseless allegation made by Vimal Veeravansa to spread a false opinion among the people. Lawyers of the Church are now taking action to send a letter of demand to him.
A discussion was held today at the Export Development Board between government officials and representatives of export fields in order to face the effects of US tariffs. Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Harshna Surya Peruma, and Chairman of the Sri Lanka Export Development Board and Chief Executive Officer Mangala Vijay Singha and other officials joined the discussions. The Secretary to the Ministry enlightened regarding financial strategies of the government in assisting exporters during this challenging period. Secretary to the Ministry of Industries and Entrepreneurship, J.M. Tilakajaya Sundara, emphasized regarding industrial adaptation strategies and innovations. The Secretary to the Ministry of Trade, Commerce and Food Security, K.A. Vimalendra Raja, also expressed views on immediate and long-term trade policy responses on this occasion. Chief Executive Officer of Export Development Board, Sri Mangala Vijay Singha, said that further negotiations will be conducted to get the tariffs reduced from 20%. The tariffs will be implemented from tomorrow. Sri Lanka will have to consider as to how the country can utilize the global opportunities while facing competition from the countries of the region. In the apparel export sector, Sri Lanka is exporting 65% to the USA and in an advantageous manner. All exporters were detailed of this advantageous situation as to how the country can further improve its position by enhancing exports to the United States. The Export Development Board is also trying to provide market information to exporters in order to get further contributions from them so that the board will be able to reach the target set by them.
Well, promotional activities with regard to Grade 5 scholarship examination will end from midnight tonight. Commissioner General of Examinations Indika Kumari Lienage says that if anyone violates these rules, legal action will be taken against the culprits under the Examinations Act. Well, the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination 2025 will be held on the 10th of this month at 2,787 centres island-wide. 307,959 candidates will sit the examination this year. Commissioner General of Examinations Indika Kumari Lienage says that especially all promotional activities related to the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination will be totally banned from 12 midnight today, and conducting any advertisements, seminars or tuition in this connection has also been banned. Giving instructions or advice as a group through media or social media is also prohibited. The persons who violate these rules will be dealt with the legal provisions under the Examinations Act.
It has been ordered to call for documents in the case filed against Mahindananda Alutgamage and Nalin Fernando, who are at present imprisoned by the Attorney General when the case was taken up in Colombo High Court today. The Colombo High Court ordered the Director of Criminal Investigation Department to present to the court within 1 week from today the documents or original copies of the case filed against former Ministers Mahindananda Alutgamage, Nalin Fernando and former Secretary to the Ministry of Sports, retired Major General Nanda Malavarachi, who is on bail. It was also ordered to take up the case for hearing on the 4th of September to hand over the documents to the defence. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery of corruption informed the Colombo High Court that the examining of evidence of the complaint in the case against former Deputy Minister Sarana Gunawardena when the case was taken up for hearing in the presence of Colombo High Court Judge Justice Manjula Tilakaratne today. He has been alleged of causing losses to the government while procuring vehicle on lease for the institution when he was the chairman of the Development Lotteries Board. The High Court judge further ordered to call the case for hearing on the 13th of October to call for evidence of defence. The case filed against Northar Malawi and 24 other defendants under the charges of conspiring in the Easter Sunday terrorist attack incident and aiding and abetting it was taken up in the presence of the bench consisting 3 judges of the Colombo High Court today. The judge ordered to call the case for hearing on another day since an appeal has been filed in the Supreme Court regarding the case by a defendant. Accordingly, the examining of evidence of this case will be taken up on the 11th of September.
Now, this is a story of courage and determination. Well, Shayanaka Lienage is a very courageous youth who won the challenges of life by creating dummies of aircraft using ice cream sticks. Well, this is his story. Well, Shayanaka Lienage is a dummy creating artist. He started making these creations when he had found some ice cream sticks accidentally during the COVID pandemic. He receives orders for aircraft dummies not only from aircraft manufacturers but also from local and foreigners who are related to the aviation sector. Employees of the national carrier have given him many such orders. Shayanaka Lienage makes these dummy aircraft while engaging in a job. Usually it takes a period of 1 month for him to create a dummy of an aircraft. He uses sticks of durable wood for this creation. He completes these dummies as a scale model in a ratio of 100 to 1. To make a dummy, he studies the blueprint of the relevant aircraft. Well, Shanaka says that he's completing an air ambulance for the Airways Airlines these days. Several dummies are being prepared for the US Air Force as well. The best time to start a creation is when it comes into the mind as a creative thought, he says. He asks the others to, or as well to try this. And moving into the hills, the third Randoli Perahera of the historic Asala Perahera festival is parading the streets now.
A large number of devotees have gathered to view the Perahera. Perahera commenced at the auspicious time of 7:06 p.m. today. It will parade through Dalada Vidya, Diyasananaka Vidya, Sir Bennett Soisa Vidya and Yatinura Vidya, and will take a turn at Raja Vidya and will return to the Sri Dalada Maligava premises by Diyasananaka Vidya and Raja Vidya. The sacred casket of relics is being carried by Tusker Indiraja, flanked by Plakasi Raja and Purama Raja.
And from the hills, we're getting into more local stories. The second reading of the Sri Lanka Electricity Amendment Draft Bill has been passed in Parliament. That's with a majority of 96 votes. 121 votes were received in favour, while only 25 votes were against. The voting was conducted this afternoon. Prime Minister Dr. Harani Amarasuri says the Supreme Sat Company entered into an agreement with the Sri Lanka Investment Board on the 23rd of May 2012. According to the investment application presented by the company, the government of Sri Lanka has not conducted any investment. Parliamentarian D.V. Chanaka says that it has been a well-known fact that Sri Lanka has a rocket of chichi than a Supreme Chat. Prime Minister further stated that the social discussions were due to other reasons and she will answer questions separately in this regard. And Parliamentarian Harshan Rajakarna says that questions were asked regarding the provision of money from the President's Fund yesterday and grants were issued according to proper qualifications. Both Lalit Atulat Madali and Rohana Vijayveera were provided scholarships of this nature.
ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමා
රෝහණ විජේවීර මැතිතුමාටත් රජයේ ශිෂ්‍යත්වයක් ලබලා තමයි එදා රුසියාවට ගියේ.
රෝහණ විජේවීර
Minister Bimal Ratnayaka says that the scholarship awarded to Rohana Vijayveera was not from the funds of the people of the country. It was granted by the Communist Party of Sri Lanka and from the scholarship quota. He has not got this any privilege from the family, and he addressed that mentioning the name of the party leader is not acceptable.
තමන් දී ගන්න නිකන් ඒවට අපේ පක්ෂයේ නිර්මාතෘවරයා ගා ගන්න එපා කියන ඉල්ලීමක් පිළිකුලින් යුතුව අපි හෙලා දානවා. ඉතින් හැසිරෙන්නකෝ ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමල්ලා මොනවද මේ පොඩි
Speaker Jagat Vikramatne requested to maintain order in the House, and the letter provided by Harshan Rajakarna to the Speaker did not mention any name.
කරුණු පැහැදිලි කිරීමක් සඳහා පමණයි ලබා දුන්නේ. එතුමා ඉන්නකන මොකද්ද කියන්නේ? එතුමාට අදාළ කාරණා විතරක් පැහැදිලි කරනවා වෙනුවට එතුමා වෙන අයගෙන නුත් වදන් කරන්න පටන් ගත්තා. එතකොට මේ අදාළ පාර්ශවකරුවන් ඒක නැගිටින්න එක වරදක් නෙවෙයි. හර්ෂණ රාජකරණ මන්ත්‍රීතුමා මට ලබා දුන්න ලිපියේ ඔය කිසිම නමක් සඳහන් වෙලා තිබුණේ නැහැ. සම්පූර්ණ වැරදි. මේ තියෙන ඔබතුමා නිකුත් කරපු නිවේදනය තනිකර මෙතන නරක විදිහට හැසිරුණා. ඔබතුමා නම් ප්‍රකාශ කරාක වැරදි. පෞද්ගලික කරුණු පැහැදිලි කිරීමකට ඔබතුමාට අවස්ථාව ලබා දුන්නාම ඔබතුමා මේ ගරු විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා පොයින්ට් ඔෆ් ඕඩර් මොකද්ද? විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා පොයින්ට් ඔෆ් ඕඩර් මොකද්ද?
කතානායකතුමා විශේෂ
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says that when an opportunity was given to the government especially, the same facility has to be granted the opposition as well.
ගරු මන්ත්‍රී විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා
The Sit Through 2025 concert organized by the Department of Social Services with the aim of elevating the aesthetic talents of differently abled persons to a national platform was held yesterday at the Nellum Pokuna Theatre in Colombo under the patronage of President Andra Kumara Dissanayaka. The event is conducted as part of the Department of Social Services' efforts to implement the government's national policy leaving no one behind concerning persons with disabilities across Sri Lanka. It seeks to ensure their rights, promote social integration, empowerment as well as rehabilitation, and affirm their right to live as dignified citizens and active contributors to the national economy. Notably, this year's event marks the revival of the program after a 6-year break. An allocation of 632 million rupees has been made in this year's budget to to the Department of Social Services for the rehabilitation, empowerment and care of persons with disabilities. During the event, President Visanayake presented gifts and awards to children from child guidance centres, child care centres and vocational training institutes who emerged victorious in the provincial level competition of Sithru 2025. The occasion was graced by Minister Upali Panilagai, Deputy Minister Vasanta Piatissa and several others.
Well, export is one of the main income sources that attract foreign exchange to Sri Lanka. Well, in the export sector, a major portion is occupied the apparel industry. Now today, concern is raised on the successful apparel industry, which is operated under the Sri Lanka Board of Investment. Well, textile creation of apparels and export is one of the biggest industries in Sri Lanka, which plays a main role in economic development. Export zones that are under the purview of the Board of Investment have earned $4.66 billion in 2024. A mega line company, which was initiated in 1999, is spread over 20 acres of land. The company has made a huge contribution to the foreign exchange flow of Sri Lanka. It has an export capacity of 30 million apparel units per year. This factory has generated about 4,500 employment opportunities by today. The mother company of a mega line has invested in another 3 companies in Sri Lanka. They are also Sirio Limited, Alpha Apparel and Benji Limited. These 4 companies annually export 95 million apparel annually. This group of companies produces apparels under 4 world-famous brands and undergarment brands. They are distributed among 3,000 shops in Europe, USA and Russia and the Middle East. The components added to these garments are also being produced within these companies. A special unit that prepares the colors of the necessity of the buyers is also available in this group. Well, this is another company under the Omega Line company, which is located in Vavunia. A group of companies has over 15,000 labor force in Sri Lanka. It has also created a conducive environment for the staff to work with satisfaction. Omega Line company is not directly coming under the US trade tariff policy, mainly exports apparels to Europe. This company has 5,600 shops in 57 countries under direct ownership. The company network has over 45,000 employees worldwide. The group of companies has been able to provide quality apparels manufactured under state-of-the-art technologies to foreign markets.
A discussion between Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa and the officials of the Government Dental Surgeons Association was held recently at the Ministry of Health and Mass Media. The officials of the Government Dental Surgeons Association enlightened the Minister regarding many problems and issues related to their profession. They also informed the Minister over the future actions taken by the association to maintain the standards of dental science sector. The Minister said that measures will be taken to accelerate recruitments of new dental surgeons and inclusion of representation of dental surgeons in the National Clinical Committee. They also raised concerns over a rapid implementation of the National Oral Health Policy.
Well, applications have been called to recruit 1,408 primary grade medical officers. Well, the action has been taken to provide primary grade doctor appointments under the Health Ministry to 1,408 doctors who have completed the internship by 29th of October 2024. Deputy Director General of the Health Ministry, Dr. H.M. Arjuna Thilakaratne, announces that the qualified doctors should apply for these posts by entering the Human Resource Management and Information System by the Health Ministry. Applications can be uploaded online until 12 noon of the 11th of this month.
A number of programs are now being implemented island-wide to mark the International Youth Day, which falls on the 12th of this month. The youth organizations conduct these programs in order to enlighten the public regarding the Youth Summit that is scheduled to be held at the Sugadadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo. An awareness program regarding the Colombo District Youth Club movement was held in Maharagama area yesterday with the participation of a large number of youth. A walk has been organized today covering the Gampaha town with the unity of all youth organizations in the Gampaha district. A large number of youth representing all electoral divisions of the district have joined this event. Cleaning the Gampaha railway station and various other premises in the Gampaha town was also conducted in line with the Clean Sri Lanka initiative. Another walk in line with International Youth Day was held in Nuwara today. Youth from the rural areas of the district and estate areas were present at this occasion. That's a look at your local news. Stay tuned for international stories coming up next.
Welcome back. Moving on to the national stories, and topping the national stories, the devastating cloud burst that happened in India, where more than 100 people are missing and at least one has died after the cloud burst triggered devastating flash floods in the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand. Rescue operations are underway in Uttarakhand district after a massive wave of water surged down the mountains into Darali village on Tuesday, submerging roads and buildings in its path. About 190 people have been rescued so far in the affected region. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushpa Singh Dhami said, "A cloudburst is an extreme sudden downpour of rain over a small area in a short period of time, often leading to flash floods. Damaged roads and heavy rain have hampered rescue teams trying to reach Darali." Dhami flew in by helicopter on Wednesday and met some of the affected families there.
Now, Russia says US envoy Steve Witkoff and Russia's Vladimir Putin have held constructive talks as Donald Trump's deadline for Moscow to agree a ceasefire in Ukraine looms. Foreign policy aide Yuri Ushakov said that during their 3-hour meeting, Putin transmitted signals to Witkoff on what he calls the Ukrainian questions and received corresponding signals from the US side. More about negotiations would be shared after Witkoff reported to Trump. Ushakov added, the US president has said Russia could face hefty sanctions or see secondary sanctions imposed against all those who trade with it if it doesn't take steps to end the horrible war with Ukraine.
Welcome back, and we are moving on to the world of sport, and that's to the 49th National Sports Festival. Well, the Western Province has won both men's and women's team championship of the 49th National Sports Festival. Well, the championship was held for 3 days at the Mercantile Services Badminton Courts. Contests were held in the men's and women's singles, men's and women's doubles, and also mixed doubles events as well. The men's team championship was won by the Western Province, while the Southern Province team became the runners-up. The women's team championship was also won by the Western Province, and the Southern Province were the runners-up. Well, the Southern Province is able to win the men's team championship in the table tennis at the National Sports Festival. The women's team championship was won by the Western Province. Contests were held at the Sports Stadium of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia. Shamal Shah Devmi of the Western Province became the player of the championship and the women's event, while Chamira Ginige won the player of the men's event. The brothers' men's and women's championships and also the gymnastics in the 49th National Sports Festival was won by the Western Province. Contests were held at Sugadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo. The Central Province became the runners-up in the men's division, while the Southern Province were the runners-up with the women's division. Nadila Nevtiru of the Western Province was judged the best men's player as well. Western Province won the both men's and women's championship in the swimming events at the National Sports Festival. Contests were held at the Sugardasa swimming pool in Colombo, and MF Mohammed in the Western Province became the best swimmer in the men's category, while Hiruki De Silva of the same province was adjudged the best swimmer in the women's category. Well, a lot of sporting action there, and on that note, we end the news. Do enjoy the rest of programs together with Dulanjali. Justice Clifford wishing you a good night.
Good night.